Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and today we're reading Saturnastra, Marduke, and we're continuing with Chapter 2, and then Chapter 2, Part 1. Well, I started Chapter 2 in the previous video. Okay, we're moving along. It angered me that they exposed so plainly the truth I knew myself. Whenever I was with her, I went by the name of Leo. She insisted on calling me like her dead son. At first I tried to ignore her whenever she called me Leo. After doing so, the day she went amok, yelling at the top of her lungs, she said, it's Leo, why won't you answer your mother, Leo? As she yelled, she pulled her hair and scratched her face. I was so panicked by her behavior that I called Sailor for help. Since then, I was Leo in her presence. I was Marduke to everyone else. Since she was small, she always suffered from those fits of rage. Typical of a berserker, though she wasn't a warrior. At the time that her father had passed away, at the time her mother had passed him off as tantrums. Her many nanas taught mother to bottle up her emotions. After all, ladies were supposed to be calm, charming, and always graceful. For years, she had bottled up her anger until it exploded in a murderous frenzy the day that her true son died. Whenever she had one of her hissy fits, I would go with Berthamet to the Fifth Tower. Its serene beauty would always calm me. This time I had nowhere to run away to in the palace. When the party was dismissed, I tried to venture outside the palace for the first time. I had grown up a bit since my first nightly visit. I put it on my weight against the door and forced it open. Outside I saw the troops in the midst of their training regiment. Since I came from within, none of the soldiers bothered to pay me any attention. I walked outside towards the gate. In a clear, strong voice I said, open the gate. I wish to visit the city. Are you that crazy, little runt? Asked the guard. Let me out, I said, kicking the bridge door. Relax, kid, I will let you out, said the guard, lowering the gate. It had been 3 years since I last saw the city. The place had not changed much. For some time I wandered around aimlessly across the empty street. I avoided looking or talking to anyone. While lost within my thoughts, something struck me in my head, and then another and another. Turning around, I saw that some older brats were throwing rocks at me. When they saw my angry glare, they started giggling. Their leader was a blond boy of about 9 years of age. Looky here, if it isn't the little prince, your highness, what brings you to the slums? Said the blond boy. As usual, I started stuttering, just shopping. Don't you have slaves to shop for you? Said the boy, throwing me another rock. This one struck me in the forehead, drawing blood. I passed my hand over the wound and then drank its blood. This seemed to unnerve some of the younger kids. Damn, that Marduke is really a freak, said another kid. His mom is crazy. It's no wonder he's a whack job as well, said a different brat. Freak, said another. Once again, the children started throwing rocks at me while calling me freak. I simply turned around and went on my way, ignoring the barrage of stones. Eventually, a lady dressed in a velvet dress noticed what was occurring. She ran towards the kids. The children saw the lady approaching, and so they ran away. And so the lady stopped by my side to see how I was doing. If I had my way, I would have those brats hanging by the ankles, said the woman. She added after she saw my face bleeding, why didn't you defend yourself? Most kids would have jumped at there after the first rock was thrown. Not like you. I like your natural hatred for most things, said I sadly. The lady in red added, laughing. Hatred and anger are two different things. Think about it. What those bullies did to you made me angry. However, I do not hate those rotten kids. I see. Why are you people angry all the time? That is not a normal behavior. Why are you all lie detectors? That is also strange. What a cute voice you have. You should talk sing everything, said the lady. Let me see if I can explain. The people of Berthamet are cursed with the truth. We are forced to see the world for what it truly is. This makes us slightly more irritable than the average Joe. Truth isn't a curse. The truth sets us free, I said without stuttering this time. The lady mused a moment and then said more to herself than to me. Perhaps your truth is different than ours. Maybe. Thank you for your help, but I must be on my way, I said. Before you go, let me clean your wound. I have an ointment. After saying this, the lady took out a round metal recipient. Inside it was an odd, clear cream. She passed it over my forehead and it stopped the bleeding. She cleaned the rest of the blood off with the ends of her dress. I went on my way. While I walked, I realized that I did not know how to deal with normal children. For most of my life, I had spent it with adults or with my siblings. My first encounter with regular kids had proven to be a failure. By noon, I came upon a house that drew my attention. The house was whitewashed clean. The roof was made of bricks. For color, it had flowers on all the windows. What I found most odd was the garden surrounded by a high fence. The garden was as diverse as Belladonna's garden. It had a clearing in the center. There were three cute little girls my age were dressed in white and they were sitting on a bedsheet. The oldest one had ebony skin. Her eyes shone bright green, and the other girls were twins. They had a light tone, but the same brown eyes. They were playing with lovely porcelain dolls that were even cuter than the maidens. I decided to try again to get along with children. I climbed the fence. From top I said, "Hello, girls." "Hi, Marduke," responded the girls in unison. "So you have heard of me?" I asked the girls. "Who has not heard of the son of the crazy woman who lives in the Star Palace?" They all responded, giggling. "Tell me about it." "And you girls don't have to live with her," I responded, annoyed. The older girl said, "I hear she calls you Leo." "Only when she's drunk," I responded. "Liar, liar, pants on fire," said the twins. "Your mother never drinks," said the oldest girl. "I sometimes wonder. It seemed easier to explain it if she was drunk," I replied. So what are you doing?" asked the twins. "I'm running away." "From what?" asked the girls, giggling. "It's complicated." "Things are only as complicated as you want to make them," said the older girl, looking at me sternly. "I guess you're right." "So what's the complicated thing you're dealing with?" asked one of the twins. "I'm hunting a monster. I feel her presence all over the city, but I can't pinpoint her exact location. I need to find her before I forget myself," explained Marduke. "Wow, sounds complicated. Wanna have tea?" asked the twins. "Nah, it's getting kinda late. I should be getting home," I replied, getting off the fence. As I started to work out, I heard behind me one of the girls shouting, "Wait, I'll walk you home." It was the oldest girl. Her dress had gotten torn when she had climbed the fence. Her knees were now visible. There was light bruises from climbing up the wall. Taking my hand, we started making our way back to the palace. As we walked, we had a bit of a small talk. She told me that her name was Alyssa and her sisters were Marjorie and Daisy. Her father was a merchant that regularly traded with the researchers. I thought she was allowed to live with them, even if he never took up arms to fight. Oh yeah, the time?
So you got 6 minutes, I'll let you know.
Her mother was a princess that was disowned for refusing to marry an old geezer. Having nowhere to go, she asked Besame to allow her to live with him. She married the merchant 2 years later. While we walked around, we ran into the same punks from before. By now, night had fallen. The kids cornered us in the street. Sneering, the blonde child said, "Who's your girlfriend?" I nodded. I said, "I'm really not in the mood." "Ooh, so you finally grew a backbone. I guess your wife has done you good," he said, reaching for the girl. Grabbing her by the arm, the older kid pulled her towards him. He said, "Hey, babe, give me a little kiss." At this point, I snapped. I pushed Alyssa beside me, and then I kicked the boy in the balls. This made him double over in pain. His friends fell at me like a fury, and I started punching and kicking and punching and biting the other 4 kids who were attacking me, but their fury was overpowering. All I could do was enter fetal position and try desperately to protect my face. All the while, Alyssa watched in desperation. Thinking me unconscious, the boys went to take their fury on Alyssa as well. Seeing this, I uncoiled from the ground, and I pulled the hair of one of them. This caused him to lose his balance and fall backwards. While on the ground, I jumped at his face with all of my force. And then I tried to kick another child. Seeing my strategy, the other child grabbed my leg before I could deliver a good kick. Falling over me, he then started bashing my head against the gravel floor. Fearing that he might kill me, Alyssa tried vainly to help me by jumping on top of the other kid. With her tiny feet, she stroked the back of his head over and over. He simply responded by drawing her to the side. Before I blacked out, I thought I heard Rudy calling my name. When I awoke, I was in my bed. My poor mother was sobbing beside me, and when she saw me awaken, she said, my boy, my poor Leo, I thought I lost you again. Don't ever do this to your mother." After she said this, the door opened. My stepfather entered the room to console her, and once she was done crying, he went over to me and gently stroked my bandaged head. Still hearing my mother crying, I said, I'm fine, mother. I want to sleep some more." The time?
4 minutes still.
I closed my eyes and I pretended to sleep. Some hours later, both left the room. Outside, I could hear them whispering. Slowly, I rose from the bed. I noticed that I was only wearing a white linen short. I walked towards my mother's vanity desk and sat before its mirror. While my parents whispered about me, I removed the bandages over my head. By now, the wound over my forehead had healed. The one behind my head was still taking its time. I rebandaged my head as best as I could and went back to bed. While in bed, I began to notice all the pains around my ribs. It was going to be a long recovery process. I closed my eyes to rest. This time I managed to sleep. In my dream, I was standing before the mirror, and my reflection was being consumed by a burning fire. In a fury, my reflection started breaking the mirror. It reached towards me, and a week later, I began my berserker training. Alright, we finished chapter 2. Alright, let's end it here. Bye-bye and God bless.